Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another daily live stream. It is very echoey in my apartment because there's even more stuff gone. There used to be like an area rug down there that's gone now. That big leather poof I had is gone too. The couch is gone. The TV's gone. I got to be out of this place in about a week. So you'll have to bear with me. I don't even know what the game plan is afterwards. I don't know exactly where I'm going to be doing live streams or making my videos, but I will figure that part out when I get this part done. Today is August 20th, 2025. Oh, I forgot to add my slides here. Give me 1 second. August 20th, 2025. Can you believe that August is already almost over, that we're about to hop into September? Where did the time go? I'm just trying to postpone or not procrastinate. I'm trying to get my slides up. I forgot to add it on here. Give me 1 second. So that you can see what's going on my journey. But today is day 654 of my journey. 654 days of my fasting journey of practicing imperfect consistency. And I'm getting a low Wi-Fi signal, so hopefully the Wi-Fi is okay. Anyway, 654 days of getting my fasting protocol in check, using fasting as my main tool, my main foundation, but also using things like keeping my refeed time short, eating better, exercising, sleeping better, having just a better overall mental health state, as well as improving my physical condition. Before I continue on, Babita, Maggie May, Jordan, Patty, Issa, BMJ, put on the tiara, Prod Select, Judy, Sheila, so many familiar names now, Adeline, Carnivorous Teacher, Cap Rising, Kevin, Tanisha, Randall, Nug Life. Who else am I missing here? That's it. Hello. You all came in early enough to give a little shout out. So I always love to give one shout out back. I see One Golden Breeze in here as well. Hi, One Golden Breeze. Welcome. Welcome. So 654 days of my journey, a lot of them imperfect, a lot of them with ups and downs. Hi, Miss Peaceful One. I see you in there as well. And in the last couple of weeks, I have been very stressed out. I have been dealing with a lot of getting shit done on top of trying to prioritize where I'm going to be living next and everything that I'm doing. But despite all of those things, it hasn't stopped me from working on what should always be my number one and should always be your number one, is your health and wellness. Prioritizing health over anything else. It doesn't mean that you give everything else up in life. It just means that you are always being aware of it. You are always keeping or making a conscious effort that you are going to show up for yourself, that you will be consistent in what you're doing, that consistency doesn't mean perfection. It just means getting up, doing it again, showing up, and working on your journey that makes what you and I are doing right now to be tolerable. That's what it's really about. If you want this to be sustainable, if you want to be in a healthier and happier state, you have to continue working on it. It just doesn't come from, I'm going to do the best things for the rest of my life. You can, But in reality, how realistic is that? For many of us, it's not something that we can do in a perfect way. I've said this many times, but one of the reasons that I am doing these daily live streams is for accountability, is because I know that over the last, I think, 2 months or so, because I've been very overwhelmed with me moving and figuring out where I'm going to be moving to and figuring out how I'm going to get rid of all this stuff that's in here, which is mostly gone. I think the only big thing I have left in here now is this desk and my bed. And that'll probably be gone in a short time as well. But despite all of that, having all of these things happening in my life, and just to relate, many of you probably find yourself or find yourselves in this place where you are stressed out, you are anxious, you are nervous about whatever it is that's about to happen in your life. And many of us turn to food. Many of us emotionally eat. Many of us stress eat. Many of us comfort eat to forget, to avoid, to pretend that whatever issue you're dealing with can be gone at least in that amount of time. I think food should be enjoyable. I think going out and eating with friends and family should be a normal thing. But when you are eating, when you are overeating, when you are binge eating because you're stressed out, because you're trying to forget, because you're trying to avoid, that's a different story. That's where we should start pumping the brakes and then figuring out, is this what I want my health and wellness to be? The answer is no, of course not. None of us want to be put in that position, because the aftermath of that, for me, the aftermath of a binge, the aftermath of mindlessly overeating, it brings me nowhere. It gives me temporary joy, right? It gives me a way to escape for a short amount of time, but it never lasts. And by the time it's all over, I'm back where I'm started. I'm back where I started. Instead of trying to find progress, instead of trying to deal with the reality of what's actually bothering me. It's what ended up causing me to gain 30 pounds about a month ago, from 140 up to 170. Going on vacation, mindlessly eating, stress eating, comfort eating, pushed me almost up to 170, which then included binge days. And binging days those are the ones that I avoid, or at least try to avoid the most. I don't want to be put in that position. Thankfully, it was 2 binge days out of the last 654 days of my journey. Also, I think yesterday my days were off. I think I kept saying yesterday was day 654, but yesterday was day 653. Today's day 654. I apologize for that clerical error on my part. So what have I done since putting on 30 pounds? Doing what I do best, fasting. Fasting is such an incredible tool for me. Fasting keeps my weight off. It's continued to keep the weight off almost 2 years later. After almost gaining 30 pounds, which, let's be real, I didn't gain 30 pounds of fat. That was a big bump up on the scale, but most of that was water weight, waste, but definitely still added poundage, right? Still added fat because of binge eating and mindlessly eating for a good amount of time. I got back and started doing round after round of ADF. eating around 2,700 calories in 18 days, lost over 20 pounds, and then had a quote unquote 20% day where I ate whatever I wanted. And to offset that, I ended up doing a 90+ hour fast and ended up losing more weight than the weight I gained after eating 7,500 calories. And since then, I've been right back into ADF, doing round after round after round of ADF and continuing to lose weight. Currently, I am, if I can unplug my phone from my battery, currently I am 15 and a half hours fasted. I ended up breaking last night. And I'll be fasting all day today. If any of you are struggling today, if any of you are trying to get a fast done today and you're a little worried that you're not going to make it, just remember, I'm doing it too. We can do it together. If any of you are fasting all day today, let me know. Keep me posted. Maybe show some accountability and be like, I'll fast with you today, Jerome. I'm in the middle of a fast right now, Jerome. I'm going to make sure I'm going to make it today. And I'll let you know tomorrow when you live stream so that it feels like we're doing it together, that you have an accountability partner in tow. Is that the correct term? Let's roll with it. My nerd stats show that I have now completed 12 rounds of ADF. I have completed one 90+ hour fast over the last month. My average fasting time is about 47 hours and 43 minutes, a little shy of a 2-day fast over the last 4 weeks. Overall, though, in the last 654 days, my average fasting time is 49 hours and 18 minutes. So obviously, fasting is a very big integral part of my success and continues to be. It's how I lost 80 pounds in less than 5 months. It's how I've continued to keep this weight off almost 2 years later. And it hasn't been done with just 90-hour fasts. It's been done with shorter fasts. It's been done with eating back-to-back days. It's been done with a mix, a combination of fasting lengths. But I have always hit my timer. Hitting my timer is really important to me. It makes me aware of whether I'm fasting or I'm feasting. Right now, when I showed you the timer, that's my accountability. Me sharing with all of you right now is my accountability. That's why I'm here every day. I see it here in chat. I love seeing it in chat. People show their accountability. People are sharing what they're doing. This is how a community works. We're doing this together. I think having a community that we have is one of the biggest benefits because it reminds you that you're not alone. I hope, as I've been doing this every day, that it gives you the inspiration, the motivation to be like, Jerome's doing it and he functions just fine. He gets his walks in, he lifts weights, he eats whatever he wants within reason. I can do this too. In a lot of ways, it feels really good to know that even for me, I'm not doing it alone. I know that people show up here, they share their story, they share how things are going, and it really means a lot to me. As I have been doing round after round after round of ADFs, I have continued to lose weight. Starting at close to 170 pounds, I have now brought myself down to the mid 140s. The thing is, if you see where it's highlighted in red, even after doing a 40-hour fast, sometimes the weight will push itself up, but it doesn't stop this train from moving. Every single round of ADF that I do, whether or not the weight goes up or goes down, I know that I'm continuing to put myself in a caloric deficit. And because I'm putting myself in a caloric deficit, I know that regardless of what the scale says, my body is going to continue to lose fat, because that's the whole point. Lose as much excess fat as I can, build as much muscle as possible. And then if you see the days I have longer fasts where I'm not doing 42 hours, 44 hours, and I'm pushing a 65-hour or a 90-hour fast, that's because I'm trying to offset a higher calorie day and trying to get myself back into a caloric deficit. Here's the thing too. Just because I fast for a long amount of time to offset the calories that I eat doesn't mean that you have to eat the way I do. Doesn't even mean that if you ate the way I do, it doesn't mean that you have to fast for that long either. I just fast for that long because I'm trying to counterbalance in that way. Sometimes counterbalancing can be a bad thing, because sometimes some of us, so when I ate 7,500 calories that day, that was planned. I strategized for that. I put in a formula of how many hours I would fast for at minimum, which was 89, to offset eating 7,500 calories. But sometimes, and I'm guilty of this too, and you tell me in chat or in the comments, sometimes what we end up doing is we tell ourselves, well, you know what? I'm going to eat whatever today, which is fine. But then you counterbalance by saying, well, if I eat whatever I want today, then I'm going to fast for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. And in a lot of ways, that's a very all or nothing type mentality, because the moment that doesn't happen, you beat yourself up, and then you find yourself going through the cycle again of saying, well, today didn't work, so now I'm just going to eat whatever I want. When in fact, if you break early, it doesn't mean that you should just fall back into that same cycle. It means that now it's time to make better decisions when you eat. Now it means that, okay, I can still put myself at a caloric deficit. Maybe I won't fast as long, but I'm still going to continue my journey. I'm going to continue tweaking and optimizing my protocol. That's the difference. I do 90-hour fasts because they're relatively easy for me. It doesn't take a lot of effort for me to push myself into a fast for that length. I function fine. I go for my walks every day. I lift weights. The day after a refeed, I usually just walk or do cardio on the days when I'm doing an extended fast, right? But the journey doesn't end. The train doesn't stop. We just keep pushing along. Oh, I'm too far ahead. That'll be after this segment. So I am currently doing ADFs. I'm currently fasting, right? I'm currently doing all the things that I need to do. Last night, I refed. Last night was a refeeding day. Of course, I recorded myself refeeding so that I can be transparent and honest with all of you about what I'm doing. So you also get a glimpse of how I perform, how I do these rolling fasts, and how I eat and how I exercise. Because that transparency is important for me. It shows that I'm not hiding, but it also gives you an idea of, hey, this is something that maybe I can do, or I can tweak it this way. I can do it that way. Thomas says, when you reach your goal weight, are you going to continue alternate day fasting and eat 3,000 to 4,000 calories every other day? If I hit my goal weight, I probably need to even eat more, because in order for me to, so let's say I hit my goal weight and I was exactly where I wanted to be, happy with where I was at, lost all the excess body fat. because my TDEE is around 2,300 calories, that means I'd probably have to eat every other day at 4,600 calories, which is quite a lot. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't do it, but I think if I were to get to my goal weight and be exactly where I wanted to be, I would probably start eating more frequently and probably fasting maybe once or twice a week. But we're not there yet. So for now, it's all speculation. I have no idea what that part of my journey is going to look like just yet, but we're going to get there. I'm going to show you all that I will get to that point because that's the road I'm on right now. Ever since I've been doing these daily live streams, I feel like I've been able to now figure out, okay, when I have a bad day, when I overeat, we'll figure this out through a fasting length and get myself back to where I need to be. So that's kind of where my head is at with that. Let's hop into the refeed. Like I said, I refed yesterday. So let's take a look at what I ate yesterday. That's the wrong screen. Here's the right screen. This is cocktail shrimp. Yesterday, I went to the Jewels, which is the grocery store that I go to in Chicago, or sometimes I'll go to Mariano's or sometimes some other places, Aldi's, whatever. Anyway, I wanted to get shrimp because I also ate salmon, which is higher in calories, and I really wanted to make sure I got enough protein in without getting too many calories in. So shrimp, very low calories, very filling. I don't know if it's that filling, but I could eat a ton of shrimp and it's barely any calories. I think I ended up eating close to a pound of shrimp here. And I went too late to go get shrimp. And so the seafood counter was already closed. So I just ended up getting cocktail shrimp that was at the seafood counter or whatever. Yes, I do eat the shrimp whole, completely whole. Not all of it, but they did supply cocktail sauce. So I had a little bit of that too. I haven't had cocktail sauce in a minute. Any of you fans of cocktail sauce? Any of you enjoy cocktail shrimp and cocktail sauce? Cocktail sauce was good. Of course, I didn't eat that entire cup of cocktail sauce, just a little bit. So it was barely any calories, I think, when I calculated that. Carnivorous Teacher says, is your TDEE based on your goal weight? It is. It is, actually. I think I put 130 pounds for my goal weight. And so the 2,300 calories is based on my TDEE, which means that even now, eating 3,000 calories every other day, I put myself at a pretty big deficit. So yes, that's a good question, Carnivorous Teacher. After my cocktail shrimp with a little bit of cocktail sauce, I had a salad. Nothing new. You guys have seen this before. This is a Caesar salad. I ended up adding extra dressing to it. I've said this before as well. I buy a bagged salad. I use everything that's in that bagged salad. The entire salad is only 250 calories, but I also end up adding extra Caesar dressing. I ended up finding this yogurt-based dressing, which is lower in calories, and I added extra Parmesan Romano cheese because I really like salads that are like drenched in dressing and cheese. Brussels sprouts are next here. Not a big surprise. These were super, super roasted. I ended up using a little more time in the oven to get them even better. Here is a dipping sauce. It's not really a dipping sauce. I talked about this the other day. I have really been enjoying balsamic vinegar with my roasted Brussels sprouts. So I've been using it as a dipping sauce for now. This is about a pound of Brussels sprouts. Here is salmon. Like I said, talking about what I ate. I just started off eating straight up salmon. So let's figure this out. I ate about a pound of shrimp. I ate about, I don't know, a pound of iceberg lettuce, maybe less than that. I ended up eating about a pound of Brussels sprouts, and this salmon. I always start every time I eat protein, every time I eat meat, I always like to eat it without anything first because I love to eat rice and I know I can go overboard with rice. So this is a strategy to help me make sure that I'm getting my protein in. I'm not overdoing it with rice. As a Filipino, white rice is my absolute favorite. I would literally eat rice with just about anything. So I finished that salmon and I'm waiting for the next clip here. Also, salmon skin is so good. Oh, that's right. I had spinach. I don't think since I've been doing these lives, you haven't seen me eat spinach. This spinach was sauteed. We'll get to that next scene in a second. Sauteed spinach, put a ton of garlic in it, cooked it in some oil, salt, pepper, delicious. And it wasn't a ton, maybe, I don't know, 200 grams or so. But this next scene is more salmon with a very big bowl of rice, cherry tomatoes, stewed tomatoes, and mushrooms. These vegetables are almost always the same. These are some of my favorite things to eat. There's something about mixing the acidity of cherry tomatoes and the mushrooms were like completely cooked in a ton of garlic and the fattiness of the salmon with the rice. So good. So good. This is the thing, right? As you're watching this, this is a lot healthier than how I used to eat, right? But everything that I'm eating here, I enjoy. I love to eat it. It's not like I'm forcing that food in. It's not like I'm eating food that I don't want to eat. I find ways to prepare it that sound great and that I can eat regularly. This is how I have been able to continue doing what I'm doing because I have found something that I can do consistently and sustainably. So as my mouth waters, as I'm watching myself eat 15 hours ago, I'm waiting for the next scene here. This bowl was absolutely amazing, just FYI. Bananas, no surprise. I ended up eating 2 bananas, super ripe ones. There you go, me showing off my banana eating skills. That sounded weird. And then this huge bowl of fruit or plate of fruit, strawberries, mangoes, pineapple. So a good amount of volume already. That bowl of fruit was probably maybe 3/4 of a pound. 2 bananas was, I don't know, half a pound, not even probably. But love being able to eat these as well. You can just watch me as I show these mangoes. These mangoes aren't the best. I had really good mangoes when I was in Toronto a couple months ago, and they were like yellow mangoes, and I should really look for those. Oh, that's right. This, I'm sure not everyone is a fan of cottage cheese. This is a thing of cottage cheese from Trader Joe's. And if you remember a couple of refeeds ago, I had cottage cheese with PB2 and I did not care for it at all. Actually, eating cottage cheese straight up, not even adding anything to it, I actually like that. So I had a good amount of cottage cheese here. This is because I was super hungry yesterday. I wanted extra protein, so I ate the rest of whatever was in here. And I don't know how long this scene of cottage cheese is. I'm sure it's not appealing to everyone. This bowl, everyone, this bowl was ridiculously good. I think I have perfected my pumpkin pudding mix. If you see in this bowl, there are so many cookies in there. That is a ton of cookies in there. Do you see that? This is actually a mix of Biscoff cookies and digestives, which are tea biscuits. I'm showing my approval in that scene there. So this pudding bowl, I guess we can call it a pudding bowl, right? This pudding bowl was a bowl of protein powder, canned pumpkin, Jello sugar-free vanilla pudding, pumpkin pie spice, milk, and Biscoff cookies and digestive tea biscuits. Super good. It was a great way to end my refeed. Do I have the numbers for my refeed? Did I forget to put it there? Let me just tell you, because I know I have it here on my spreadsheet. Yesterday's refeed was 2,939 calories and 223 grams of protein. So I kept myself under 3,000 calories, which was my goal. Just squeaked in there right under 3,000 and a ton of protein, hitting 223 grams. I think a big reason I was able to hit that was because I ate a good amount of cottage cheese, right? To help get the protein in and keep the calories down. So let's see here. My last, wait, is that the right one? Here are my refeed stats. That's what I want to show. Refeed stats here. Average refeed time over the last 13 refeeds, under 4 hours. My average calories per refeed, 3,200. My average protein per refeed, almost 200 grams of protein per refeed. I'm good with the refeed time. I'm good with that protein per refeed. I want to get those calories down a little bit more. I would like to keep it under 3,000, but it doesn't really matter because I'm still continuing to drop weight since I'm doing ADF. My last 5 refeeds, you'll see on the 9th of August, that was my 20% day where I had over 7,500 calories. And then every single refeed after that, I've been tapering it down and have now gotten under 3,000 while still getting a lot of protein in my refeeds, on my refeeds. Let's see here. Refeed and fasted stats. This is just a really good representation of how much weight I gain after a refeed and how much weight I lose after just doing a 24+ hour fast. You'll see a 7-pound gain and then a 5-pound drop 24+ hours later, a 6.5-pound gain, a 5 or a 6-pound drop after, a 6.2-pound gain, a 5.4-pound drop after. Yesterday was a 5-pound gain, a 6.6-pound drop after. And then this morning when I woke up, a 6-pound gain. But you can see this as well. If you look at what my weight is after a refeed, you can see it pushing itself down from 155 to 152 to today at right under 152. And you'll see my fasted weights dropping as well from 150.6 pounds down to 146. And then yesterday at 145.6. So even though I have a 6-pound gain on a refeed, it's water weight, mostly water weight. And then the next day when I drop that weight after a 24+ hour fast, right? The weight pushes itself down. A good reminder that the scale is going to say what it wants to say, but it isn't the be all end all. It doesn't define you. It doesn't say, or it doesn't mean that you're valued more or less because of what the scale says. Think about your non-scale victories, right? Think about what's important to you when it comes to what is most important, which are your non-scale victories, which are How do your clothes fit? What is your blood sugar like? What is your blood pressure like, right? Those are the things that are important. Those are the things that make a bigger difference than what the scale says. I've said this before, right? We don't wear a sign around our neck that says, I weigh however many pounds, right? Instead, our goals should be, are you happy and healthy? Are you doing things that will continue to progress your health and wellness? That's really what matters at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what that number on the scale says. It matters that when you get your blood work done, is your blood work optimal? Are you doing things to push that success? There's no better feeling, at least for me, when I wake up in the morning and I'm full of energy, my blood sugar's in check, my blood pressure's in check. It doesn't matter what the scale says. You cannot let that scale mess with your head. That's not, I get it. I understand. But I'm literally showing you day after day after day after day, right? That even if the scale pushes itself up, it doesn't deter me. It doesn't change what I'm doing because I know it works. The results show themselves. I'm literally the reason that, not literally the reason, like the walking definition of imperfect consistency. If this didn't work for me, I wouldn't be where I'm at today 654 days later, right? A lot of where I'm at today is through imperfect consistency, through telling myself, all I got to do is show up, do the best that I can, be in the mindset of it doesn't have to be all or nothing. There are going to be bad days. There are going to be days I'm going to go out with friends. There are going to be days where I might eat back to back. There might be days where I get stressed out and I emotionally eat or I stress eat. Those days might happen. But the thing that doesn't change is the routine that I've built for myself. That routine is based off of habits. That routine is based off of building good habits, right? And breaking bad ones. That's literally the game plan. It isn't rocket science. We all know what we need to do to be happy and healthy, right? We all know what it takes to do the right things. At this point, it's just a matter of, can you do it consistently? Can you do it imperfectly consistent? It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be consistent, right? I preach that all day, every day. I do feel like I am the embodiment of imperfect consistency. And you'll continue to see it as time goes on. Nothing is stopping this train. Nobody is stopping this train. Health and happiness will always be my ultimate goal. Obviously, right? It's more than just fasting. It's a combination of fasting and how long I'm refeeding for and the choices I make when I eat and the cardio I perform and the strength training that I do at the gym, making sure I sleep well, making sure my mental is right. And I think that's the big thing too. I think the one thing that I feel gets overlooked a lot is your mental health. Is so much of what we do is based on how we're feeling mentally. That's where emotional eating comes from. That's where stress eating comes from. That's where boredom eating comes from. That's where comfort eating comes from. Here, right? Of course, there are going to be times where we get hungry and we want to eat. That's different. That's hunger. But I think you also have to start to decipher what real hunger is versus, am I eating because I'm trying to avoid something? Am I eating because I'm trying to escape something? Am I eating because I don't want to X, Y, and Z? Am I eating because I'm telling myself I'm going to start tomorrow? And I know there are a lot of you who do that. I know there are a lot of you who are like, I might as well, because you know what? Tomorrow, 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 tomorrow. If you had a nickel every time you said tomorrow, you probably have a big jar of nickels. But you know what I'm saying? So much of it is mental. So much of what I do is built on discipline, but really it's built more on habit. I'm where I'm at today because it's out of habit. I have built these habits day in and day out. Every day that I show up, I do my routine. I do it again. I do it again. If it doesn't work the way I need it to, I'll tweak it. I'll optimize it. That's why you don't see me doing 90-hour fasts over and over and over. It doesn't mean that I couldn't, but I also know it isn't, for me, it doesn't feel, how can I say this? Somebody asked me this question a couple days ago. Would I rather fast for 90 hours and eat 6,000, 7,000 calories? Or would I rather eat every other day and fast every other day and eat 3,000 calories? And I would take the latter. I enjoy being able to eat every other day. And the nice thing is, when I want to fast for a longer period of time, right? When I want to fast for a longer period of time, or when I want to eat whatever I want on my 20% days, then I fast for a longer period of time. That's how I offset this. That's how I work the system, right? To get to my goals. Do I have any other stats on here? That's it. So before I take any other questions, let's do fit check real quick. If I can get to my slides here. Here we go. That's me. I don't know how old I was here. 4, 5, something like that. I've been an overweight kid my entire childhood. That's a Mr. T A-Team lunchbox right there, everyone, from the 80s. I've been overweight in my childhood, in my adolescence, in my teenage years, in my 20s, in my 30s, and even in my 40s. So if there's someone that can relate to your struggle, you're looking at them. Sometimes the crazy thing is, after being overweight and obese and morbidly obese my entire life, for a while, I just identified myself as such and only saw myself as such, and thought I would have never been able to get to an even regular weight. But here I am today, right? And being able to keep this weight off for this long is it's a blessing to me. To be able to figure it out is such a blessing to me. And it doesn't mean that I have everything figured out. It doesn't mean that everything is, I was going to say hunky-dory, but it's true, right? Everything isn't where, it's not like I have it all dialed in perfectly, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, because eventually you will continue to figure your shit out as the days go by. You will continue to figure out, okay, what can I change here? What can I optimize here? Do I feel good about doing this? This doesn't work so much. Maybe it's time to change things around. This is also why it's really important that when you think about your tools, right? Fasting is a tool. The way you eat is a tool. The way you keep your refeed length is a tool. The way you exercise is a tool, right? They're only tools that you use. It doesn't mean you have to use it forever. It doesn't mean that 90-hour fasts was what I had to do forever. It didn't mean that eating 6,000, 7,000 calories of whatever I wanted was going to be forever. Eventually, it changes over time. It evolves, but you will only get there by doing. Maggie says, you have a lot of room now to do fit check. I do. JD, how's it going? JD says, Jerome, did you need an excuse to stick to your fasts in the start? What mentally shifted in you? So I share this a lot, but honestly, JD, the answer to that question is accountability. That's why I talk about accountability so much. That's why accountability is so important to me. The reason that I have been able to keep or get through fasts and keep the weight off is because I am being completely accountable, being transparent in a way where I cannot hide. JD, that's the perfect question. And I ask this question to people as well, right? Is imagine, JD, if you had to tell me where your stats were at and you had to meet me again tomorrow, would that help you make better choices? What if you knew you had to talk to me every single day at the same time and we had to have a 25-minute conversation about your progress and how things are going? Would that help you get through your journey? If you're, and this isn't just for JD, but for anyone there too, who says like, yeah, that would be helpful. Think about the importance of accountability. Think about the importance of showing up. That's why I always tell people, right? Show up here. Show up, share your accountability with people in chat. You'd be surprised how many people can relate, how many kind people there are, right? That alone was enough motivation for me to know that people were rooting me on, right? That people were cheering for my success, and to be able to show them that it was possible, and to know that I've continued to help people. I've coached many people who have now hit their goal weight and who are in maintenance and who understand that it's not about being perfect, but it's about practicing imperfect consistency. It's about making sure that they show up, that they're honest about what they're doing. And it's not everyone, right? There are many people I've talked to as well who are still in the very all or nothing mindset. And they still have a very hard time struggling themselves to get out of that. But that takes time. Eventually, if you show up enough, I know that people will figure it out. Okay, let's do fit check. I'm quite bloated today, everyone. I'm up 6 pounds, but still feeling pretty good. Why is this camera not, why are we not in, there we are. Now we're in focus. Also, I don't know how long we're going to be able to do fit check for, because wherever my next space is, it might not be big enough, but front shot, side shot, rear. Man, I do have a lot of space. There's a lot of space here. And side shot. This shirt is an extra large from an extra large youth shirt is what I'm saying. It's not an adult shirt. These pants are extra small. No, that's a receipt. I used to wear a size 38 waist. I wear a size 28 waist now, and even a 28 size waist is still fairly small. And this is me in my bloated state after a 3,000 calorie refeed yesterday, after gaining 6 pounds. Did I gain 6 pounds of fat? No. All right. I didn't gain 6 pounds of fat. How do I know this? Because I have been weighing myself every day to get an idea of where my numbers are at. Tomorrow, hopefully, I will be 6 pounds down or more. And even if I'm not and I weigh a little more, that's okay. Nothing stops this train. I keep pushing on. I keep going. I keep figuring my shit out. Okay. I will answer any questions that you might have. I was trying to think, what else was I going to say? But I'll answer any questions you might have, is what I was going to say. If you're looking for help when it comes to weight loss or fasting, or you're looking for an accountability partner or an accountability coach, you can go to finallyfasting.com. You can book a one-on-one session with me. We can have a conversation. We can talk about putting a plan and a strategy together. You can also check the site out for merch if you want to support me in that way. I have hats like this one as well. If you want to support in a different way, if you want to be part of the Finally Fasting fam, there is a link in the description of this live stream that you can click on. If you become part of the fam, you get your name in the intros of the live stream. You get custom emoji. And if you join the higher tier, you get to join in on the Wednesday night live streams. And today is Wednesday, and we have a live stream tonight. It is an accountability live stream. It is an accountability group coaching session where other people come on to chat and talk, and we have a discussion to hold people accountable. We talk about our wins, our struggles, and everyone has a communal spreadsheet that we share. Some people have different goals because everyone has a different journey. So if that's something you're interested in, I would take a look. And if you end up joining, I'll see you tonight on the live stream. Veronica asks, Jerome, have you heard of Diet Bet? I think so. Is that where you get to bet on how much weight you can lose? And then if you hit it, you can win. I don't know exactly how it works, but I think I've heard of something similar to that. So yes, I have heard of it. Maggie May says, are you going to, am I going to do dailies until you move out? So that depends on how long this desk is going to be here for. There is going to be a change. I do enjoy doing these daily live streams, but I have to figure out if I'm going to be able to do it wherever I'm going to be after this. When I'm in the Philippines, I could probably do them every day. I feel like I'll have a lot more time then. But for now, I think you all will still see a daily for at least the next 5 days. I can't promise that you might see a daily. I don't know yet. And I don't want to say that to disappoint you all. I need time to think about it. I guess I haven't even gotten my head in there yet because I'm so consumed right now with this move and making sure everything goes well. So thanks for the question though, Maggie May. We'll see. Lynn says, I never see a Finally Fasting place to click. Are you talking about the autophagy group to be part of the Finally Fasting fam? What about the link in the description of the live stream? I think that's probably the easiest way I can explain it, because I don't know what it looks like for other people since I own the channel, so it doesn't show me the other things, I think. Yeah, Lynn says, I would like to be part of the Finally Fasting fam. Yeah, I would say just go to the link that's in the description of this live stream. If you need help with that, maybe I can find a link and send it to you. So, okay. But keep me posted. Jerome, what days are you fasting? I'm fasting today. I am breaking tomorrow. I'm fasting on Friday, breaking on Saturday. Actually, I don't know if I'm breaking on Saturday yet. We're not going to have this discussion today. We're going to have that discussion tomorrow. So just FYI. just so you all know, a longer fast might be coming because, well, you all know what that means if I'm going to be fasting for a longer amount of time. Hi, Nash. I see you there. Nice to see you. Maggie says, when you get to the Philippines, can you do a video of any of your walks? It would be cool to see the scenery from there. Maybe, yeah. That would be fun. For me, when I go for my walks, it's really me time, but I'm sure it would be interesting to see the area that I am going to be in. And it would be cool to do a walk around. I just feel a little weird carrying a camera that way, but definitely worth considering, Maggie May. I know I butchered your name last time. We'll just go with M Dudu's. I can't. Ikunene? M Dudu's Ikunene? Am I saying that right? Maybe I did. Hi, Jerome. Are you considering doing any sport just to keep fit? I think at this age, you need to join something like soccer or any activity. You know what? I've thought about taking up boxing just because it feels like something that I would be interested in doing. Learning how to box, I don't know. But I have thought about it. I mean, when it comes to sport, I do enjoy lifting. I know it's not I guess it could be a sport, but that's usually what I do outside of walking. I'm turning 40 next year and I need to keep fit. Right? Like being active is definitely important. So you'll have to tell me what you end up doing. Soccer, I don't know if I could do soccer, but definitely an activity. I lift weights every other day, so I do enjoy doing that. Another bid game, Jerome? What do you mean bid game? Hi, Jerome and everyone. How's it going, Michael? 1 hour from a 72-hour fast. Congrats on your 72. Another. Oh, are you talking about bid game? Why am I not understanding? Maybe you meant to say something else. What's a bid game? Could we all do a fasting challenge? I've said this before, but I'm literally fasting every other day. You guys can do this with me. You know what I mean? So maybe I need to do something more formal, but I need time to make a video and I haven't had time to do that. So once I'm moved out of here, I'll have a lot more time. So maybe I'll do something then. You eat how many calories? Are you asking me, Michael? Why am I so confused? I eat 3,000 calories on my current ADFs, if that's what you're asking. I did get your name right. Oh man, I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I did. Okay, everyone. We're an hour in. I still have a ton of stuff to do today. Frozen Steel, I've never seen you here before, I don't think. Nice to see you. Maybe you have been here before. Hi, Jerome. I was just watching one of your videos from a year ago. I started fasting July 20th and already lost 20 pounds. Wow, you've lost 20 pounds in a month? Congratulations, Frozen Steel. Let's keep it going, right? It's amazing to hear about people's successes, but what I would love to hear is that they're able to either keep it off or continue their journey. So let's keep it moving. But appreciate you being here. Thank you for sharing with us. Oh, because you're saying I might be doing a longer fast. Yes, a 20% day is coming, and it might be tomorrow. But I'm going to save that for tomorrow. So we'll keep it there. Okay, that's it for me today. Thank you all for coming by today. Thank you for all the support as always. Thank you, chat. I love you guys. You guys are so supportive. You guys are so helpful to each other. You guys are kind to each other. I really appreciate that. Thank you to my Finally Fasting fam. Thank you for always being here. Thank you for supporting me in an extra type of way. It really helps what I do, and it helps me continue to put content out there for you all. So, all right, everyone, that's it. I'm going to do my wave goodbye. Wait, before I do that, I have to close all this stuff because then it won't work. Okay, I'm good for now. All right, here is my wave goodbye. Tomorrow, I'll be back tomorrow, probably around the same time, maybe a little earlier. Depends. We'll see. All right, everyone. Take care.